out for change, I just started on my quest. Yeah, the world will know my name, I'm excited, I'm obsessed. No one in my way but myself and a test. Yeah, I will be the best, yeah, I will be the best. Life is just a game, I'll be playing till I rest. I'll be there to claim my own spot among the best. Deep within my mind, I'll put all my fear to rest. Cause I will be the best, yeah, I will be the best.
What is going on, guys? It has been a long winter and a longer time since I've made a video. Obviously you already know what's going on with today. We got all my bouncers rebuilt and I've made some changes, some big changes to my two race buggies. So we're going to go over those today, and of course Screaming Blue, which I turned into my trail bouncer. We're going to go over all that today, but real quick, obviously it's been a while since I've done a video. I just want to let everybody know that I did shut down the Hill Ninjas Adventures page on Facebook. That page is no more. If you would like to follow me, you can follow my personal page. I'll leave a link. Just know that I don't accept random friend requests, so you're more than welcome to follow me, but if we haven't chatted or anything, I don't accept random friend requests. You can also follow the group, which there is still a link to, but just a quick heads up, I did Ixnay on the Hill Ninjas Adventures page, just because I'm not a Facebook fan, honestly. But anyway, yeah, in other news, we are about 5 weeks away from race season, and as you look around me, you're probably being like, are we going to have a race season? Are we going to have a season opener? Well, just about, I don't know, I'd say about a week ago, we had about 1.5 feet of snow, and we're down to maybe 6 inches or so. I have no clue what the hills look like. I have not been down there. Videos are going to start picking up, probably kind of slowly within the next couple weeks. I got a couple ideas. I got to make some trophies for the guys. And as you saw, probably early or late last year, I put out a post that I gathered up a bunch of weed whackers and old motors. So if you guys have been following along for a while, you'll know that I make all the trophies for my series. Well, now I do, not always, but anyway, I make all the trophies for the series, so there's probably going to be a quick video of that, maybe me throwing together some trophies. There's also going to be another random video that I've been wanting to do, but just never did because I wasn't sure about YouTube things. But yeah, like I said, 5 weeks till race day, and race day is April 19th, so yeah. You guys are going to start seeing some race prep videos once all this stuff goes away and I can actually get down there. So videos are going to start picking up, but we're going to get into what I did with all my bouncers over the winter. Well, for those that have been following along, they already know. We got Blue Dream, which is now kind of like Blue Dream 2.0 because I changed quite a bit. We have Cockroach, which is also now Cockroach 2.0 because I kind of changed it quite a bit. And we have Screaming Blue, which is still just Screaming Blue. So we're going to kind of go over them one by one, and I'll try to put some videos or some pictures up of what they looked like before if you are new to the channel, so you can kind of see some of the changes, but I'm going to go over them one by one and tell you what I did to them. Alright, up first we're going to talk about Blue Dream, which is going to be my main, probably my main race rig. It'll probably be my go-to rig, the one that I try to get used to driving the most, but we also have Cockroach that I want to race with this year. We're going to get to that, but so some differences about Blue Dream that I've done is, we're going to start out with the obvious thing, is I've made it a lot longer by making it leading arm, which means I had to make my own links, make some new links. I also made, actually I already did the links in the rear, but I just painted them black. So I made both upper links to get it to the length that I wanted. I used aluminum rod ends to kind of help me get it a little bit longer because I didn't really want to buy Yeti XL trailing arms, just because I'm being cheap and I already spent enough on this thing and the other ones trying to rebuild them. So trying to keep the costs down a little bit. So I didn't want to buy those, and I really didn't want it that long. Blue Dream used to be sitting at about, I think it was just shy of 17 inches, as in wheel nut to wheel nut was 17 inches, and now it's right around 18 inches. It's just shy of 18 inches now. Like I said, I did that by buying trailing arms for the front, which we call them weeding arms, trailing arms. But that's how I did that. I also had to change out the drive shaft because obviously I made it a little bit longer. Something else, it had, I believe I had 110 millimeter shocks on there. Now there's 120, so there's a lot more suspension travel. It's set up really soft right now. Obviously I haven't got to do any shock tuning or anything, but I may have to do some shock tuning. I'm probably going to have to, but we're going to see how it goes. And that's kind of how I got it set up right now. It's just kind of super soft. But some other changes that we made is it was originally called Blue Dream. I'm not going to give you the whole story because there's plenty of videos on it, but the whole Blue Dream thing was, obviously my favorite color is blue, and the dream part came from, I've always wanted a Keller RC performance chassis, which this is, and how I originally got the super shafty axles. This is a super shafty axle, even though you're seeing it black. They were like polished aluminum before. I just painted it just to match the front one, which I'm going to get to. But the whole reason it was called Blue Dream is obviously the Keller R Performance chassis and the super shafty axles that I had on front and rear were from Key City Hobby when I went to go build hills for them. That was kind of their present. I got to go on a shopping spree through their super shafty headquarters. So these rims are actually super shafty. The rear axle is, the front axle was, but I actually kind of wore it out, which was kind of my fault. I had a couple loose screws and it just kind of wore out the machine screws, and I did tap it out for M4 a little bigger, but eventually they gave out, so I just got rid of that, and now we have a SSD axle up front. Big shout out to Shannon Nolan for sending me a bunch of AR-60 parts. I know everybody calls my stuff the dinosaur. Everybody's moved on to riffs and everything, but big shout out to Shannon for thinking of me for my dinosaur parts, and he sent me a big box of bunch of AR-60 stuff. So big shout out to him. Believe that front axle came from him. Went through everything, and yeah, it also has a Vanquish transmission in there now. It also has a brand new motor, because you can go back quite a few videos at the last open park day. I snapped my pinion right off the motor, so there is a brand new motor in there. The Mamba X speed control is original from 2019 when I first started the series, so that speed control is going on its like 7th year with me. I bought it used, so, but I am on like my 2nd or 3rd motor, which is mainly my fault. So I think that's pretty much it for the changes for it. Everything else is pretty much the same. I did go up a pinion. It was a 16, now it's a 17. So guys, if you have any questions about any of them, just let me know. It is a Shift RC Servo Mamba X, usually running 4S, or sometimes I run 3S depending on the hills, and it's a 3800 kV motor for those wondering. Alright, we're gonna swap them out and go over to Cockroach. Alright, so all my bouncers on how I got them and why they're built kind of have a special story. Obviously, we just talked about Blue Dream. So here we have Cockroach. And many may not know because he doesn't really build there anymore, but Mr. Sam Dubé up in Canada, he came out for the first event ever in 2019 with us. And he brought one of his chassis called Never Satisfied. And I fell in love with the way he builds chassis ever since then. And they were kind of out of my price range, honestly. Back then, I could never afford one. But I actually found this one in Connecticut. Somebody was selling it, and it didn't look like this, obviously. Once again, I'll put some pictures, and I'll try to find some videos of Cockroach when I first got it. But yeah, it didn't look like this. But I've always fell in love with that style chassis, and I saw one in Connecticut, and it was pretty cheap. So I actually took a road trip with the family. We went and stayed in a hotel and went and did some stuff the day before. And then on the way home, we ended up stopping by the guy's house, or stopping up and meeting with him, and I ended up buying it off him. Then I immediately sent a message to Sam and look what I found. Because I've always wanted one of these chassis, and the reason I kind of drool over these kind of chassis is because in my eyes, this is how a bouncer should be set up. An RC bouncer should be set up like a real one. It's got the motor up front, transmission. It still uses the same style race transmission. It's only just going from one output, and then it goes to the transfer case, and obviously it goes to front and rear. So I've always fell in love with that style chassis. Also, every single mount, like shock mount, all the link mounts, they are all double shear tabs. Every single one of them. And if you know anything about rock bouncing, everything's really tough on parts. You take hard hits. Stuff tends to bend. So the double shear tabs are really nice. And obviously, I should mention, it is skidless. There's no skid. Try to be nice on my paint. I was gonna show you. So, how Blue Dream has that aluminum skid, and everything kind of mounts to the skid. If you notice, Cockroach does not have a skid. Everything mounts to the chassis. So the transfer case, the transmission, all that stuff mounts straight to the chassis. Something else he's also known for is, he doesn't have it on this one, but they usually have bump stops and limit straps, which just kind of adds to the cool factor, and it does help with shock tuning if you want to limit stuff. And yeah, obviously they just look cool, but it also stops your shocks from getting ripped apart if you take a bad tumble downhill. So that's kind of the story on Cockroach. Another builder and chassis that I've just always wanted, not necessarily Cockroach, but in that style. It is called Cockroach because there is, or I should say there was, a one-to-one bouncer that was called Cockroach, and this is a replica of that chassis. So some of the changes, well, I shouldn't say some of the changes, pretty much everything changed on Cockroach. I got rid of absolutely all the links on it. I also got rid of the axles, but we'll get to that. I got rid of all the crappy Amazon whatever links were on this because they were chintzy, they were broken, all the rod ends were shot. So we went, these are actually Vidavon trailing arms. I believe they're for a Yeti, maybe? Actually, no, they got to be something longer. I'm not actually sure what they got for. But anyway, they're Vidavon trailing arms, and I didn't like that they had non-replaceable rod ends, so I actually cut the end of the trailing arm off and drilled it out, tapped it, and put rod ends on it so I could actually use them, which makes the rear end of Cockroach a little bit longer, which obviously made me have to make rear upper links. Some guys have asked me to make a couple videos on making links. If you guys are interested in how I do that, let me know. Also, obviously switched out the whole front. We got brand new SSD trailing arms up front and new links. Cockroach was for wheelbase from nut to nut once again, when before was 15 inches, pretty much exactly. Right now it is about 17 inches, so quite a bit longer. It was really short before. It had a real struggle on any kind of steep incline, or yeah, pretty much any kind of steep incline, but it definitely struggled with that. Just noticed I got a screw that's not totally tight, but yeah, it struggled on that, so I wanted to make it a little bit longer. We also have SSD center pumpkin and SSD front axle on there now. Once again, big shout out to Shannon. I had some of the parts to help rebuild them, but obviously I had, actually I can show them to you maybe. I think I still have them. Oh, I think they're in the other box. Anyway, so I got the axles that were on it. They were definitely for a crawler. They were definitely, once again, from Amazon or some China-based company, because they were decent. They were decent for a crawler. Two of the axles, the front and rear axle, or the front and rear axle that were on this, two of them weighed as much as one of those. That makes sense? So what I was trying to say is the old axles that were on here were from China. They were decent for like a crawler. They were super heavy. What I was trying to say is two of these axles, two of the SSD axles, still weighed less than one of the axles that were on here. So they were decent axles. They held up really good. Didn't have any problems with them, but I only took them off because they were super heavy. So once again, shout out to Shannon. Got some newer axles on there. Also a big shout out to Matt Higgins. We got Outbound RC. You can go check him out on Facebook, and he sells sway bar links, or sway bars, sorry. So we got Matt's sway bar on there. Looks pretty sweet. Obviously you can check out the new paint job, which was a pain, but I'm really happy with it. Came out really good. I wanted to break up some of the, well, I didn't like the whole brown thing. I still like the cockroach theme. I will put up a inspiration of what I used, but yeah, that is the new cockroach. I cannot wait to use it. Obviously, we also switched the tires. It did have mudslingers on there, but this also has Vanquish front axle shafts. So I did put the bigger tires on there, which tend to grab a lot more, and they used to break stuff a lot. So we're gonna try them on cockroach. We also redid all of the shocks on cockroach, so it has all new spring rates, all new fluids in it. They've all been cleaned. Cockroach is completely ready to go. We even got a little light on there. It's bright red. If I find a picture of it, I'll show you. But yeah, that is Cockroach 2.0, all ready to go racing this year. Last year I tried not to use it that much because I just got it and I never went through it. This time I went fully through it. Oh man, you can tell it's been a while since I've done a video. Stumbling all over. Yeah, exactly. So you can tell it's been a while since I've done a video because I'm stumbling over all of my words. It has been a really long time since I turned the camera on. Anyway, we have Screaming Blue right here. Once again, I'm not going to tell you the whole story because it's pretty long. There's a video on how I got it on my page. Screaming Blue is a gift from one of the drivers. He knows that the whole reason I started getting into rock bouncing was because of Bobby Tanner and Screaming Blue. If you don't know who that is, you really need to go do some research, because he's the godfather of bounce. He's, yeah, pretty much everybody's idol. But anyway, he knows I always wanted one of the chassis, and once again, one of these chassis is way out of my reach for money-wise. It was just something that I never thought I could have or anything, but Dave saw how much I fell in love with his because he has one. Everybody that follows the channel knows that there's usually 2 Screaming Blues that race when they do see him. But yeah, he has one too. I seen his, I fell in love with it, and he had one built for me and surprised it. So that's how I got Screaming Blue. Obviously it is a replica chassis, but I did not build it as a replica. If you have some keen eyes, you'll know that I'm running trailing arms, which many will say that Bobby never did, but he actually did do once. Go do some research, watch some videos. There is a couple videos of him running trailing arms. He just didn't do it very often. But anyway, I went with trailing arms in the back just to try to make the chassis work a little better. It is probably my heaviest buggy. The only real changes I did to this was the rear end. I had to make new links. Oh, actually, I didn't make these. Big shout out to Cam once again. He gave me a pile of old links, and I actually found 2 that actually fit perfectly. Got my pinion angle nice. It was kind of tweaked before. I took a hard hit of this thing tumbling down the hill, and like I said, it's heavy, so it actually bent one of my other links, and my pinion angle was all messed up, so had to change out the links. Also changed out the sway bar. Well, actually, I didn't change it out. I kept the arms. I changed out the torsion rod because the old torsion rod was really thin. And actually, sorry, I changed way too much stuff on these things. So I actually did change out the arm on the sway bar and the torsion rod because the old sway bar was not working out. I'm hoping this one's going to work a little bit better. The one that I made before, I actually made my own sway bar. Same with Screaming Blue. I made that one. I mean, Blue Dream. I have too many blue buggies. Jesus. But anyway, had to change that out. Hopefully this one works a little better. The torsion rod is a little thicker, so I think the other one was maybe too thick and it wasn't giving any flex, which was why it kept coming loose maybe. Just a guess, but that's kind of what I have a feeling was going on. For those curious, this one is, obviously you see it right there. It is running a Mamba X, but it is a scale system. Most of the time this thing is just on 3 or 4S. So yeah, no big changes to this one really. Still running the same axles, SSD. These are the ones that I had, but yeah, I really like the SSD products. They're really good, and they're decently priced. So that is all of them. If you guys have any questions about any of them, let me know in the comments. We got 5 weeks till race season begins, and I am super excited to try these 2 out because, like I said and explained, I've changed a lot on both of them, so running them is going to be like a whole new buggy for me. Should be a lot of fun. It's going to be an awesome year of racing. Alright guys, I don't know when it'll be, but I will see you in the next video, probably within the next couple weeks. Later.